Hello and welcome to the August 10th, 1945 edition of Around the World in approximately 6 minutes with your host, Veronica Niles. There has been an air of celebration for most of the world as the Second World War has finally drawn to a close. However, for some, celebrating is going to be a difficult task. The war was an arena for bravery, courage and support. However, it also served as a theatre for despair. While the war brought out the best in some, it brought out the monsters in others. We start off the program with the rape of Naomi. In order to prepare Japanese soldiers for battle, commanding generals instructed Japanese soldiers to commit the most horrid crimes against humanity. The goal of the commanding officers was to create an army of soldiers whose hearts were so callous that they could murder an entire family without losing sleep. During the 3-month reign of terror, the Japanese army killed and mutilated over half the population of Nanking. In order to carry out this operation, soldiers burned, bombed, buried, and raped the occupants in the worst ways possible. Daily reports were sent back to Japanese newspapers and reviewed as entertainment by the civilians. Officers encouraged decapitation contests and the raping of children and the elderly. In many cases, sons were made to rape mothers and fathers to rape daughters. The soldiers also took pleasure in locking civilians in buildings and setting them on fire. If humiliation and degradation were not enough, the Japanese effectively created a depressed and sedated army of opium and heroin addicts. On top of it all, perhaps the most tragic of all these atrocities was the comfort women's system. Chinese women and girls were made to be prostitutes for the exclusive use of the Japanese army. The rape of Nanking is just the first link in a long chain of horrendous crimes against humanity. Most of you are aware of the Holocaust in Germany. However, the most horrendously effective Holocaust occurred in Poland. 3 million persons of Jewish heritage lost their lives by the cruel hand of the German Third Reich. Over 90% of the Jewish population were killed in what the Germans referred to as the final solution to the Jewish question. All levels of the Third Reich hierarchy were involved in the Jewish extermination. After the invasion of Poland, the Germanic forces quickly began killing those who were viewed as dangerous elements. More than 2 million individuals of Jewish heritage were killed in this manner. Ghettos were created for Jewry who were of the wealthy urban class. The Third Reich stripped them of their valuables and sent them to live in poor, crowded conditions. After that, leading Germans pushed the building of 6 concentration camps where the Jewry were to be systematically murdered. Jews were selected from the ghettos and brought to concentration and extermination camps like Treblinka and Auschwitz. The Germans disguised the camps like rail stations and even included novelties like fake clocks to keep the new arrivals from determining their fates. In order to ensure the fastest and most effective killing, new technology was developed to provide a way to murder up to 20,000 victims a day by gas chamber. At the Auschwitz II concentration camp in crematoria, more than 1 million individuals arrived from liquidated ghettos and catacombs and met their silent deaths by Zyklon B gas. For many, the war was not simply something that was fought in a faraway place. Here in Britain, air raids and blackouts were a constant reminder of the war. The Battle of Britain was hosted as one of the toughest fighting to be seen in the war. Hitler originally intended to attack the Royal Air Force and gain dominion over European skies. However, when this attack was ineffective, he switched his plan to bombing major cities. This action is known as the Blitz, and was intended to demoralize the British people and destroy British industry. As a precaution, Operation Pied Piper relocated over 3.5 million people from urban to rural areas. In addition, around 2 million wealthy individuals were evacuated privately, settling in the US, South Africa, Australia, and the Caribbean. In Russia, the Battle of Stalingrad had a 97% death rate. Men entering the battle had a life expectancy of only 24 hours. In order to ensure the success of the Russian army, Stalin ordered secret police to shoot anyone found crossing the Volga River. Russians renamed the city the Stalingrad Street Fighting Institute, as battles were waged for the control of streets, buildings, and even rooms. Most of the time, the soldiers starved as shipments carried ammunition and soldiers, not food. For the few civilians remaining in the city, life was filled with gunsmoke, death, disease, and ceaseless gunfire. Despite the depletion of the German army, Hitler pushed on. The Germans did not receive the needed shipments of food, ammunition, or clothing, and as a result, many starved or were subject to the increasingly Arctic conditions of the approaching Russian winter. The Battle of Stalingrad claimed the lives of over 300,000 German troops and over 500,000 Russian soldiers and civilians. The Battle of Stalingrad dealt a tremendous blow to the German ego and proved that the Third Reich's war machine was indeed susceptible to failure. We conclude this evening's episode in Japan. Following the refusal of peaceful surrender of Japan, 2 atomic bombs, Fat Man and Little Man, were dropped on the cities of Hiroshima and Nagasaki. On August 6, 1954, the crew of the Enola Gay set out to drop Little Man in Hiroshima. Due to crosswinds, the Little Man missed his target by 800 feet and detonated directly over the Shima Surgical Clinic. Some 80,000 individuals were killed instantly, and another 70,000 injured. Over 90% of the doctors and 93% of the nurses were killed or injured because of their close proximity to the downtown area, which received the worst damage. According to broadcasts by Radio Tokyo, practically all living things, human and animal, were seared to death. On August 9, 1945, the crew of the B-29 Bockstar prepared to drop the atomic bomb Fat Man. An estimated 80,000 individuals died as a result of the bombing on Nagasaki. Japan was now vulnerable and saw a continuation of war with a death wish. In his declaration of surrender, Emperor Hirohito referred to the atomic bombings. Moreover, the enemy now possesses a new and terrible weapon with the power to destroy many innocent lives and do incalculable damage.